So, have you chosen your guardian yet?
Maidens choose themselves.
What are you saying right there?
Maidens choose themselves.
Maidens choose themselves?
Maidens choose themselves.
Havens choose themselves.
Maidens choose themselves.
They need to choose themselves. Thank you, Ozpin. Believe in the heart of the cards? Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, Jake of the OneManBand is back again, and welcome once again to a RWBY episodic review. This time, we're looking at episode 5 of volume 3, Never Miss a Beat. Now this episode is really battle heavy. It has a lot of fights in it, not that much talking or developing until the very end. So I'm not going to go into excruciating detail about every single aspect of the fights. I'm going to give my honest opinion on what I think is important from the fights, but you guys probably already know this, and I'm probably just... Well, let's start out with the very beginning of the episode. We see that Penny and her partner, Ciel Sully, are battling the double participants from Team Cardinal. Now, I know a lot of you people were speculating that Team Cardinal would get into the doubles round, but to be honest, what does that tell about the team that they went up against in the teams round? Because of what we've seen of Team Cardinal, they aren't really that good of fighters. I mean, I understand that a lot can happen, but of what we've seen, it's not really all that much to get crazy about. Speculation aside, we see that it is Russell Thrush and Sky Lark that are in the doubles round. What does this say to me? It says that Cardin has a bit of humility to him. He wasn't the one to just push his teammates out of the way and say, I'll go to the doubles round with whoever one of these three wants to come with me. No, he let two of his other guys go. And I think that actually says a lot about him. It says that he probably isn't that bad of a guy than he was in Volume 1. So he may be a potential ally in the future. But as for now, the two are fighting Penny, and we know that Penny's gonna have to move to the singles round, so they gotta get defeated. And defeated they do. They didn't even stand a chance. Penny destroys them utterly. She uses her sword puppeteering skills to lift rocks out of the air and slam them onto the ground. Now here's something about that. Now, the rocks were penetrated by the swords from the side, not from the top, and Penny was able to lift them off the ground. Now, that doesn't really seem possible. I mean, she wasn't above them. There was nothing above them to cause her to pull them up, which is why I think I have an idea of either a new ability of Penny's or possibly her semblance. As she was pulling up the rocks, you hear a slight little tinge of electrical interference. It almost sounds like static. Now, it could just be, oh, she's a robot, she's gonna give off those sounds. Or her swords are connected to her via wires, so there could be electricity running through them. Which I think is actually true. There is indeed electricity flowing through the wires connecting the swords. And it is through that electricity that she's able to manipulate the magnetic fields around objects that are connected to her swords. That is why she is able to control her swords while they're away from her body. She's able to manipulate the electromagnetic fields around them. It's an ability that isn't too much different than Pyrrha's semblance of polarity. Except think of it this way. Pyrrha's power over polarity is a lot like, I would say maybe Toph's ability from Avatar: The Last Airbender, while Penny's ability is more along the lines of Magneto. Let me reiterate that a little better. Okay, so Pyrrha can control polarity and magnetism. She can manipulate objects that are made of metal that are magnetic. So she can manipulate metal that has magnetic properties. But Penny can manipulate electromagnetic fields. Pretty much, she can manipulate anything as long as her swords are connected to them. So while Pyrrha's is a lot more versatile, Penny's, I think, is stronger and just overall cooler. So battle goes on. Penny wins, blah 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 blah. Her partner didn't even help her. She was just standing there looking at her watch. So after the match, RWBY catches up with Penny and they talk for a while. It's here that we learn about CL's name and how she kind of fits in with Penny. She isn't exactly like Penny. She isn't a robot, no. Because if she were, then she would probably know about Penny's condition of being a robot, which she does not know. So I think I see her more as she's a handler, someone who's there to keep an eye on Penny, due to the fact that in the previous 2 volumes, Penny has gotten into a lot of trouble when she's kind of been off on her own. And now that the tournament has stopped, she can't exactly have 2 military bodyguards following her around everywhere she goes. So Ironwood probably has a young intern military person following her around to make sure she doesn't get into trouble. Not only is CL a handler, but she's also a form of analyst. We learn that she has profound knowledge about RWBY before even meeting her. So either Ironwood knows something about Penny going off with RWBY and having adventures, or CL is just curious about everyone and everything. In this portion, we learn also 2 key pieces of information about Penny. The lesser is she's magnetic. Magnets stick to her, so that may be a little bit of trouble on her part if she ever has to fight Pyrrha. The second is that Penny wishes to stay at Beacon Academy. Now, we can all see Ironwood coming along, you know, I can't let you do that, Penny, and he won't. He won't let her stay there because she's too valuable an asset, and she's supposed to be the guardian in his eyes. So, we learn that Penny has a plan on how she's going to be able to stay at Beacon Academy. What is this plan? Of course, we don't find out because she has to go to the next appointment somewhere. Yay! More questions! So with that, we then go on to the doubles match where Team RWBY is going to be fighting Team Funky. To all of those who went to the RWBY panel at last RTX, we've been looking forward for this for a while, because Miles said that he was really looking forward to Team Funky. Now, I for one thought that he was honestly joking. I was like, there's no way a team is called Team Funky. I was wrong. I see the error of my ways. We have the trumpeting Tyrannosaurus Rex, Flint Cole, and the energetic roller skating Neon Kitty. What's that? What's the sound? Now, before the battle even starts, we learn that this team is from Atlas. Now, that kinda is a bit strange due to the fact that Atlas, as we know, is a military-controlled school. So we have these crazy, funky people there, and how have they remained funky and individualistic? How have they done that? They have some major willpower and some major cojones, I'm telling you that. We learned that Flint Cole, his father, owned a dust shop that was run out of business by the Schnee Dust Company. So we know that the Schnee Dust Company indeed very much has a monopoly on the dust. resource of dust. They are driving local businesses out of business and instigating their iron rule over the entire market. Maybe that's why the old guy was working as like a truck driver and now a noodle stand guy. Maybe he was put out of business by the Schnee Dust Company. It would make a lot of sense. Now, is it just me, or does Flint Cole just sort of give off that vibe of being like inspirationally birthed out of like the combination of like Pharrell Williams, Louis Armstrong, and James Brown? Because to be honest, that's the kind of vibe I got off of him when I first saw him. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's an awesome thing. I was all like, here's a new guy, and he's awesome. He's got this cool hat and the sunglasses. He's just whipping a freaking trumpet? That's awesome. I couldn't wait to see that weapon in action in the fight. And with Neon Cat, we learn that she is indeed off the walls, bouncing crazy. Now, it is obvious, pretty freaking obvious, that she is in fact a cat faunus, like Blake, but instead of having ears, she has a tail. And as we know, the rules of faunusness, I guess, is you either have ears or you either have a tail. Or something like that. That's what I heard. I mean, check the RWBY wiki, I'm pretty sure that the rules are there. So the battle starts, blah 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 blah, all this stuff is happening, and we get to learn more about these two new characters. Now we learn that Flint Cole's weapon is in fact a trumpet, which he uses to produce sonic waves of, I'm guessing, dust energy, due to the fact that in the note changers, I'm guessing, in his trumpet. I don't know what those are called. I was never a music buff, but each one of them has different vials of dust in it, and how he changes the notes changes what kind of impact his sonic attacks will have. We've seen that his sonic attacks mostly just blow people back or have like fire and explosive capabilities, but what I noticed mostly from his attacks is that he isn't so much an offensive hitter. He distracts. He's able to distract people, as he did with Weiss. Weiss was concentrated on attacking him, and the most that he did was either hit her against the wall or get out of the way as she tried to attack him. He was merely keeping Weiss down so that she could not help Yang. On the other hand, we learn that Neon Cat is very much a talker and doesn't have that much of a filter when it comes to what she says. Now, whether what she was saying to Yang was meant to be cold-hearted and mean, or just her thoughts coming out of her mouth, once again, no filter, isn't exactly known. But I do believe that she was doing it sort of for two reasons. One is that she doesn't have a filter, so she says what she thinks, and she wanted to know how she was going to be able to push Yang and Weiss's buttons. Before the match even started, Flint and Neon started their strategy. They began to talk to Weiss and Yang. They got to get the feel of like what their personality would be. Flint instantly went after Weiss and made it so Weiss would go after him, while Neon started poking Yang. You know, poke, 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 I'm annoying you, I'm annoying you. That way Yang would go after Neon no matter what. Divide and conquer. Just like Mercury and Emerald did with Coco and Yatsuhashi. And as Neon was fighting Yang, we see what Neon's strategy is. She's on rollerblades. She can move incredibly fast and stay away from Yang. We know Yang's semblance is the more hits she takes, the more damage she can deal out. But if she cannot catch her target, she cannot hit her target. So we almost have another Neo in this sense. We have a target that really can't be hit by Yang because she's just so dang mobile. And whenever Neon goes in for a strike, she uses dust-infused attacks as well as very fast strikes. We learn that Neon's weapon is and I'm not kidding, a glow stick nunchuck that when she breaks, activates whatever dust is inside. And the dust that she was using at the time was ice dust. Whenever she would strike a specific part of Yang's body, that part would then freeze over with ice, as we saw her freeze an arm, a leg, and then the other hand, and stuff like that. So what Team Funky was doing in the match was not so much attacking the enemy, but rather wearing the enemy down. These two fighters, at least, of Team Funky, are not meant to be straight up fighters. They're meant to be distractions and assassins, I would say. Meant to have quick strikes, but then get out of there really, really fast. That would be Neon, while the distraction and sort of... I mean, the only word I can come up with is distraction, would be Flint, because that is what he's doing. He's keeping Weiss occupied. And even though he takes a few big hits from Weiss, he's able to keep her away from helping Yang, and Yang is kept away from helping Weiss by Neon. We also learn about another semblance. This is Flint's semblance. His semblance is that he can split himself up into 4 different, I guess, clones, I would say. And each one of them uses a different type of dust, as you can tell by the sonic waves that are coming out of his trumpet, and by the undone bow tie around his neck. And it is this semblance that is called the Killer Quartet. When he activates it, he's able to do 4 times the damage, 4 times the power, and he's able to combine all the sonic waves coming from the trumpets into one devastating attack. Now, to be honest, Team RWBY was almost completely outmatched by Team Funky in this battle. They were actively losing during the fight. They were getting their butts handed to them. It isn't until Flint takes his attention off of Weiss to help finish off Yang that the tide turns. In a way, it goes from being really bad to being very good. Weiss sees that Flint and Neon are about to take Yang out. So what does she do? She sacrifices herself to try to take Flint out of the fight. And it is this that snaps Yang out of her sort of rage coma attented toward Neon, that she notices, oh wait, my teammate is down. This is bad. What is going on? And it is then that Yang gets control of herself again. Because pretty much from the beginning of the match, she was already angry, overcome with rage over Neon's comments. So we know that when Yang gets angry and goes into a rage, she gets very hard to control. And this is an active weakness of hers, is that if she can't control her anger, what's going to keep her from not harming her friends when they're out there in the fray, or coming to the aid of her friends when they need aid? But we see that she's able to snap herself out of it when she hears the buzzer chime signaling that Weiss has been taken out of the fight. So it is through this that she activates her semblance pretty much, embraces her inner rage, knows how to control it, and is able to finally take down both Flint and Neon. And after the fight, we see that Weiss is in pretty bad shape, stating that she probably won't sing anytime soon. That was probably her idea of once again trying to be funny, like she was back in Volume 2, and well, it did kind of work. But it is this. The way I see it is that Weiss is pretty banged up after this fight. So even if it was their initial plan to send her to the singles round, I don't think that's going to happen now. I think it's honestly going to be Yang who's going to be going to the singles round now, because she isn't so much in bad shape as Weiss is. We also see that Team Funky takes the defeat in stride, and they actually respect Team RWBY for who they are and what they did. And does this mean that Team Funky is going to make another reoccurrence appearance in this volume? Quite possibly, but once again, I think they may fall along the lines of like Team Lavender, Team Bronze, and Team Auburn. That's it. I think they're gonna fall along the lines of those teams, sort of being background teams, sort of like single-use teams that may make an appearance later on in the series, but maybe not in the volume. But if there was ever a team that was to do that, it would definitely be, in my opinion, it would have to be Team Funky. Also, like, where'd the animation go in this scene right here? Like, where'd it go? I'm a bit disappointed in this scene because the animation was not really there. And I know a lot of you guys have made comments about how the animation in this volume is a bit more choppy due to the fact that Monty isn't, like, in charge of everything now. But I've, for the most part, have been alright with it until, like, I see a scene like this. A scene like this kind of makes me mad because I'm like, oh, come on, you guys could have put a little bit more effort into that scene, a little bit more effort into that animation, but we're still getting over the death of Monty and him not being a part of the RWBY development anymore, so there's probably going to be a rocky start. So really, we can only get better from here. So after the fight, we once again go to the Chaos Syndicate. It's like they have to have a scene in every single episode now. It's part of their contract. And we see that Cinder comes across the schematics for Penny. And it is here that we learn that she didn't know about Penny before, but now she does, and she takes profound interest in Penny, and she wants to add Penny to the plan. She wants to make Penny an addition, much to the befuddlement of Emerald and Mercury. They're like, wait. You're diverting from the plan? You're doing something different? What's going on here? You going crazy, Cinder? And she's just, no. This thing, what I just found, it's gonna make our plan easier. It's gonna make it easier to accomplish whatever they're trying to do. So, the aspect of Penny taken over by Cinder is probably gonna happen now. And I'm honestly not liking that idea. Now we'll move on to the last scene of the video. We see that it goes to Ozpin's office, and he is talking with Crow. They're talking about how he is sort of making Ozpin look like a fool. To which Ozpin retorts that he has the right idea. He thinks his heart is in the right place. He's just misguided. Now, it's obviously that he means Ironwood. And how do I know this? It's because I've been saying pretty much the same thing, that Ironwood has the right idea, but he's misguided. His heart is in the right place, but he's misguided. I've been saying that for the longest time. So, confirmed in the series now. It is confirmed. Also, we hear that Crow makes the comment of he doubts that Ironwood even has a heart. This, once again, is throwing another callback to Ironwood's inspiration, which is the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. The character who didn't have a heart and wanted to get a heart from The Wizard of Oz. And then finally, Crow asks the question, has he chosen a guardian? To which we get a key piece of information. We learn that guardians, they have to choose themselves. Pretty much all Ozpin can do is bring up a candidate, put someone on a pedestal. It is up to that person to then choose whether they want to truly be a guardian or not. And it is during his speech here that we see that Pyrrha is entering the elevator to go up to Ozpin's office. And so it kind of gives the idea that Ozpin is talking about he pretty much knew that she may be a candidate to be a guardian ever since he met her. She has all the right ideas and aspects. Now, obviously this scene is meant to make us think, oh, he's talking about Pyrrha, because Pyrrha's in the scene right now. But nay, my friends, I do not believe that this is the right way of thinking. Yes, it is obvious that he may be talking about Pyrrha, but that's the thing. It's too dang obvious. It's too dang obvious that he may be talking about Pyrrha, and that's why I don't think it's the case. Now, if you're anybody who's watched RWBY from the beginning, we know that Pyrrha very much has the ability and the capabilities to be a guardian. She's a world-renowned fighter. She's powerful. She has a awesome semblance, and she's already been put up on a pedestal pretty much by everyone she knows. Except Jean, but that's why she likes him. Which is why it seems to be that it's a bit too obvious that she would be a candidate to be a guardian. But this does indeed mean that I'm gonna be going into the whole idea of Pyrrha being a guardian when I do the guardian video. It's gonna be coming out soon, in a few days, guys! But, the very last scene of the episode, before the credits, right before the elevator doors shut, we see Pyrrha smile. Now, it isn't a genuine smile. The word that comes to mind when I see it is sinister. I can already see the theories flying up there. Pyrrha was part of the Chaos Syndicate the whole time. Pyrrha is a bad guy. I knew it. Pyrrha's been playing everyone for fools. To which, put your hands down, put them away from the keyboard, sit on them if you have to, and listen what I have to say. It is a possibility that yes, Pyrrha could be playing for the bad side. But of what we've seen of Pyrrha in the last 2 volumes, do you really truly believe that? Her genuine interest in Jean, the way that she looked after Jean, the way she helped molded Jean, she went out of her way to help train him. She wants to help him. She respects him as a person to the point of having a crush on him. Why? Why would she take the time to go through any of that if it was all a farce? You could say deep cover, to which I would say possibility, but no. I think that smile there was meant to mislead us. They have to leave these episodes with some form of a cliffhanger, and this is in fact a healthy cliffhanger. It is in fact all possible that she may have only gone to Beacon Academy in the beginning because she had heard that Ozpin is looking for a guardian, and she wanted to go to be that guardian. It could be that she does have selfish intent, but I don't think it's to the point where she's evil. I think it'll take a few more instances like this to get me to believe that Pyrrha is in fact playing for the dark side. And now that I have you guys thinking about that, I want you guys to think about this more. Let's look back at that smile. Let's look back at that scene. That smile. It's a sinister smile, as I said before, but I think we've seen that before. We've seen that look, not on Pyrrha's face, but on another's face. Someone whose very semblance may be illusions. Is it possible that this Pyrrha going up to Ozpin's office is actually Neo in disguise? Going up to maybe have a attempted assassination attempt to where Pyrrha will have to be put under military guard and taken to jail? Is that part of Cinder's plan, to take Pyrrha out of the picture entirely instead of taking her down herself? Only the next episode can tell, but for the time being, I'm thinking that Pyrrha is Neo. It's gotta be. Because the Pyrrha I know is kind-hearted. I wouldn't do anything like this. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna end this episodic review here. Now, if you guys believe that I missed anything at all, be sure to leave a comment down below saying that you missed something, Jake. You're an idiot. Why did you miss this? And I will kindly say thank you for your consideration. and I will read the comment. And also, leave any questions and crackpot theories down there as well, because, once again, gonna give a feedback video about this episodic review. But until then, be sure to like and favorite if you've enjoyed, subscribe, of course, if you feel inclined to. Check out some other videos that I've done. I do a lot of them. And remember, to be a good person, tip your waitresses, keep moving forward, and I'll see you guys next time I'm out there in YouTube land. I'll see you then. Yeah!